Hi Lucas, Alan Cockrell with ABC, hitting coordinator for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm going to run through your swing today. I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I talk to my hitters about. I like your setup position. It maybe is slightly a little bit narrow for me and a little bit straight-legged in the setup position, although I do see some bend there. The thing that I like the most is how you get separation with your hands. Your hands make a very distinct move back, and they're independent of your chest and your shoulders, and that's a big load with the hands right there. That looks really, really good. We start to get into the swing process, and I see you going forward so much that your back foot actually comes up off the ground. That's a little bit like what you'll see Albert Pujols do today. That just means that your weight transfer is really maximized, and I like that. The one thing I may talk to you about, and I will talk to you about when we slow it down and start drawing some lines, is just maybe the length of this load or the length of that stride. That stride gets a little bit too long, and we get kind of locked into covering a speed. We have a hard time maybe making an adjustment on pitches that are off speed, breaking ball, change up, things of that nature. But your independent load with your hands is phenomenal, and maybe we'll just shorten up this stride just a little bit. But I'll talk to you about it. Okay, here we are when we get back into the load. The hands are going back. Now as we start our move forward, basically our stride foot is right here, okay? And when we go forward and we get to the toe touch position, our stride foot is right here. And for me, that's borderline. That's borderline too far. And what I look for when a stride foot gets down, what I look for is equal bend in both knees. I look to see that the knees are inside the feet, and this is just an athletic balanced position. And what I see with this front leg is just a little bit of more stiffness with this front leg. The next thing I look at is we want to keep these hips square at that point, and I see your front hip starting to leak. And it's just, for me, it's just maybe that the length of this stride is probably 14, 15 inches long. That causes this front leg to lock out a little bit early and open up this front hip. If we maybe just shorten this thing up to here, if we shorten it up 6 inches and make that stride more, 8 to 10 inches in length, that's going to keep more athletic bend in this knee, and that's going to keep this hip line right here. That's going to keep this hip from wanting to open a little early and leak out. And as soon as that hip starts to leak out, then the hands will end up working around the body, and we don't end up getting the same extension that we could normally get. But I look at your shoulders, they're nice and square. I love the height of your hands. They're back, very good position. As I mentioned earlier, they've gotten really good separation behind your back knee, and your head sits right over your belt buckle in a very good attacking position. The only thing that I think, if we shorten this stride up by 6 inches, it's going to put you into more of an athletic position. And really what that's going to help you do, Lucas, is make an adjustment once the pitch leaves the pitcher's hands. I'm sure your coach has told you, we want to load to hit the fastball, but once we start to lock out this front knee right here, we're pretty much locked into hitting the fastball. So if we get an off-speed pitch or a breaking ball, this locked out knee is not going to be receptive to keep our body square and be able to get deeper into that front knee and make an adjustment so we can stay through that ball that's off speed. And hopefully this makes sense. This makes sense to you to be able to understand this. But when this locks, everything works around the front leg, and we want everything really to work into that front leg. Okay, let's get into the swing a little bit. Make a good first move with this back knee. As soon as you do, this elbow starts to slide underneath to get down into the slot. We want to make sure that this knee stays inside that foot. That looks good. Here's your connection, hand, elbow, back, hip, all in alignment, okay? The hands go forward, okay? And then this is where we see the back foot start to come up just a little bit, a la Pujols and Hank Aaron back when I was a kid watching hitters hit. The thing that I really like at contact is we are in a palm up, palm down position right there. That's the strongest position to be in. I like the fact that your head and eyes are buried right down the barrel of that bat in the hitting zone, and really locked in to the eyes being down at contact. And Lucas, it's important for you or any other hitter to know that as soon as the head and eyes come up, the swing is gonna finish. The barrel of your bat will follow your head and eyes. So we try to get our guys in all their cage work and even in batting practice to bury their head in the hitting zone for at least one count past contact, and that ensures that whatever swing we start, we're going to finish that swing because our head and eyes are buried right down there in contact. As soon as the head and eyes leave, barrel follows the head and eyes. So basically, you know, that's going to bring the barrel in and out of the zone very quickly. So I like that position. Don't ever lose that. As we get forward, we get into extension and a nice full high finish. Okay, I'm going to go, you know, back through again, and maybe you can hold that position right there on an off-speed pitch. Maybe I'm completely missing the boat, but a lot of young hitters, when we get there, and this leg right here, let me go back more. When we get right here and this leg starts to lock out, if it locks out too early, it's very difficult to make any type of adjustment on an off-speed pitch, because what we need to be able to hit an off-speed pitch is we need for our hips to stay square. We need for this side of our shoulders to stay square. We got to stay on the inside part of this foot so that everything stays square, so we can just continue to glide, or not glide, but get deeper into that front knee and keep that knee inside that foot in order to keep the barrel staying through the zone. Okay, so that would be my only suggestion. I think your swing is phenomenal. Maybe play around with the idea or the thought of shortening up your stride, maybe just a little bit. Okay, this is where we start right here, and let's just play around with the fact that, okay, if I get all the way out to there, all right, we're going to play around with maybe just shorten it up 5 inches and see what it feels like to get to that point, and see if that doesn't maybe help you with off-speed pitches, if those are pitches that tend to give you a little bit of trouble. But everything else is pretty much textbook. I mean, look at your head and eyes right there. Your hands are starting to move in front of your body. You're in a good position to release that barrel, and then we get through contact, and your extension is straight out, barrel of the bat straight out towards the pitcher. I mean, you're doing everything that we try to get our guys to do. So that's really my only suggestion, bud. So keep working on that. Play around with maybe shortening up the stride just a click, and just see how that feels. Okay. Thanks a lot for coming to our camp, and best of luck.